Would you travel on a 1,000-kilometre road trip for a medical procedure that takes just 20 minutes to perform? Well, you might if you were 90 years old and you'd been put on a 4-year waiting list. Now, the man in question is John Patrick Harrington, and he's here with his son Jerry, who did the driving on that road trip. You're both very welcome to the programme. John Patrick, what was your problem medically? You had a problem with your eye.
My eye, yeah.
You're blind in one eye.
I was blind in one eye, yes, and I had the cataracts in this eye.
And you would have lost the sight in that eye.
I lost the sight on it for Michael.
This is Michael Collins, the independent TD.
That's the man that saved me, making me the hand. I'll always think him. I'll never forget it.
Now, Michael will explain in a moment how this happened, but Jerry, you did the driving on this road trip. Explain the whole dynamic of the cataract on the eye, and that your dad would have lost the sight in the good eye very quickly.
Yeah, June 2013, he lost the sight in one eye, and from then on, for the next 12 months, the sight began to deteriorate, and we were made aware that there was a cataract forming in that eye, and he was put on a list to see a doctor consultant in the hospital, CUH. So from then, we were waiting to get called. He was called once, but he was unwell enough to go for that trip. Yeah. So he was put back again on the consultant's
list.
This
was only to have a consultation, not to do the job.
No. So then, I suppose, rolled forward a couple of years, and obviously sight getting a lot worse, and rang the consultant there a few months ago, and was told after a number of phone calls and a lot of persuasion, January 2018, they were hoping that he'd see the consultant.
That's just for the consultation. Yes. And when did they say, if that consultation went ahead in next January, that the operation might proceed?
The secretary informed me that it was up to 4 years.
Up to 4 years?
Yes.
And your dad is 90?
Yeah. So he would be 95 before he'd have the operation to save his eyes, and he was going blind. That was very evident from our own local doctor.
And your dad is a carer to your mum?
Yes.
Who has Alzheimer's?
Yes, and he's at home full time with her. So, obviously there was no option but to try and do something else.
So the prospect was that your dad would lose the sight in his eyes and not see Nora ever again?
Yeah, because she's already blind in both eyes. So we know what it's like from that perspective.
So there was a resolution, and this is where Michael comes in, because Michael had the know-how. Michael, what did you realise?
Look, I suppose for the last, since I got elected, I find it a huge issue with a lot of people looking to meet with consultants to have simple procedures like the cataract done, and it wasn't happening. And it's not just John Patrick, but it's many others that are waiting 1, 2 and 3 years and going blind. And some of them, I found out since, are gone blind and waiting for a simple procedure. I met with Kingsbridge Private Hospital management there, my rural independent TDs. Robert made the management team there, and he told us about the simple system that's there.
This is an EU system. It's a cross-border system. That if you can get someone either in a public service or a private hospital in another EU country that offers something that would be available on our public service, that you can get it done there, and the HSE will pay the bill eventually.
And the HSE pays the bill, which is a big plus. But the biggest plus here is that the procedure would be carried out. And I had to simply test the system. I spoke to Jerry about his dad, because I knew he had a serious issue with his sight, and there was a serious worry to the family. And we contacted Kingsbridge Hospital, and within 25 days, John Patrick had travelled to Belfast, which is a huge journey from Cumhola and Bantry, for a procedure that could have been carried out in the Centre of Excellence of Bantry Surgical Ward.
How long did the procedure take? 20 minutes?
15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. And it took 15 hours up and down, 8 hours up and 7 hours down.
So 15 hours travelling for a 15-minute procedure.
Yeah. And it became very evident then that it became discussed on the Dáil Éireann floor that day from leaders' questions. Leo Varadkar did recognise that he was sorry for what my dad had to travel, and he went on then to say, look, he was kind of encouraging people to go north. So that's, I suppose, him saying, look, the system here has failed the people of Ireland, and it's absolutely shocking.
Now your dad is not well travelled.
No.
So this was a big excursion to go 1,000 kilometres to north of the border. The difference, he also made a big trip today to come to us.
Yes.
The difference in the two trips.
The difference in the two trips coming up, I suppose, Pat, not much comment being passed on the way to Belfast. He might see the odd animal inside the field, which he's farming all his life, but he was seeing stuff today, every detail, you know, animals in fields. He could make out the breed, and the whole difference was absolutely unreal for a 20-minute operation.
Extraordinary. You know? John Patrick, the difference that you find now that you've had the operation.
Oh God, yes, Pat. Big difference. Oh, a big difference. I can see a long, long ways away. Oh, I can, yeah. Oh, a very big difference. And better it's getting.
It's getting better. So it's still improving.
To the fortnight now, to the fortnight. Fortnight last. Yeah, fortnight day. Fortnight day. It'll stay fortnight. I had the operation at 11:30. And when the operation was over then, my eye was covered, naturally enough. And out we went. I was taken out in a wheelchair and into Jerry's car and off the road, and I made the trip home, all the ways home.
Now, bearing in mind, Pat, I suppose he's blind in one eye, so it was frightening. All of a sudden, he had sight going up, he had no sight coming back
because the eye
was covered for a number of hours until the following morning. So
I thought I'd never again come back.
It was quite frightening for somebody that would be in that position, whereas somebody maybe with 2 cataracts would have one eye at least to see with. Now, like I said, the amount of phone calls I've got since from people with way more harrowing stories than that, like, you know, there's at least a dozen a day coming for people wanting to know, how do I go about it, how do we get about it. Now, the biggest problem, Pat, is that a lot of people don't have family, they're on their own, they have no one will set to back them up, so it's quite frightening, like, it was harrowing.
The extraordinary thing is that there are ophthalmic surgeons here in Dublin who work for charity, who go off to Africa and teach people, unqualified people, how to do these operations. They say it's as simple as learning a video game, and these operations could be carried out in this jurisdiction if things were organised a bit better.
Yeah, we have a fabulous facility in Bantry, which it was a major hospital when I was young, and it's literally after changing, and that could be brought back again.
Right. John Patrick, what would you like to say to the Minister tonight? The Minister, or indeed the Taoiseach, what would you like to say to them?
I know, I don't know what to say to them.
I think your story speaks volumes anyway.
I wouldn't think much about them, man.
Michael,
what we're trying to do now, Pat, at this present time, the independent rural group yesterday met with the League of Credit Unions to put a funding in place, because some people can't afford the operation. The cataract is a simple procedure, it's much cheaper, but also there's a knee and the hip operation. We're also met with Local Link yesterday to try and tie up a transport service, because it's quite a long journey for people, so we might be able to take a number of people. Kingsbridge now have accommodated us that they'll do the consultation in the morning, 8:30, the operation at 9, they're out at maybe an hour later. So, you know, we're putting together...
And obviously you have to organise finance. It will be reimbursed by the HSE eventually, but there could be a time gap.
Absolutely. Well, it could be 5 to 6 weeks when they get the compensation back, and hopefully the credit unions will come on board. I've spoke to the managers of the Bantry Credit Union, the Bandon, Skibbereen, Castledown Credit Unions, but what we're saying here in general is that I can now, and my colleagues can now ring Kingsbridge and have an operation within a week and a half, or a person maybe 2 weeks, a cataract operation.
Sure.
And the other thing, Pat, is that we're now hoping to do a number of cataract operations, maybe 12 in one day, and Kingsbridge are going to accommodate that. And myself and Danny Healy are hoping
it's a great initiative, but the tragedy is that it requires this EU cross-border scheme when it could be happening in this jurisdiction. Michael, thank you very much, and John Patrick, thank you very much, and Jerry, thank you very much for coming all the way from Bantry to be with us this evening. Terrific, thank you. All right, well, that's about it for tonight. If you'd like to join our live studio audience any week, go to tv3.ie/take part, or email pkaudience@tv3.ie. I'll be on News Talk from 9 in the morning. Up next, Matt and Ivan with the Tonight.